Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
The time is just gone 8:32 a.m. now. Does this make sense to you? We know the situation as far as many state-owned enterprises, and one that has been in the spotlight for far too long has been South African Airways. Now, here is the question. Why does the government continue to fund and to bail South African Airways, considering the history of the airline, and especially at a time when we are in a deep, dire strait situation as far as the economy is concerned? COVID-19 has not made it any easier. And this is a question that is raised by Ghaleb Cachalia, who is a member of parliament with the Democratic Alliance. Ghaleb, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the show.
Walaikum salam. Nice to be here.
Right, Ghaleb, I know you've raised this question, and we know Pravin Gordhan has basically been critical of the commitment to provide this 10 billion to restructure or to finance the business rescue situation as far as SAA goes, and also lashing out at critics, particularly the Democratic Alliance, saying that he is shocked and disappointed with the DA and other parties who lack insight, financial literacy, and understanding of governance processes.
This is astounding. Pravin Gordhan is an experienced man. He's a qualified chemist. Years ago, he ran his own chemist shop. Maybe he ran his chemist shop the way he wants to run the country, because it balances nothing and it throws money down the drain. It is frankly utterly astounding. We borrow 2.1 billion rands a day. That is the rate at which we're borrowing. We can't afford this. There are certain industries which need to be kept afloat, because without them, literally, we all die. We have to keep the lights on in Eskom. It's a huge drain on our lives and on the fiscus. But that is critical until an alternative means is found to deal with it. But SAA is a vanity project, a failed vanity project. The business rescue plan was based on a 61% load factor, and that was going back a while. Situation has got worsened as a result of COVID, and we are in a worse state. So this is literally pie in the sky. I don't know where he's coming from or what is in his head, apart from this vain notion that the state must have an airline, and even if it costs us in the time of COVID, even if it means taking away crucial monies, which he has, from the police, from education and health, to fund this flight of fancy.
Well, interesting that you call it flight of fancy. And when one looks at the numbers alone speak for themselves, Ghaleb, where we're looking at in excess of over 180 billion that has been spent on state-owned enterprises for the last, close on to 20 years. SAA in particular has received in excess of 60 billion rand with no light at the end of the tunnel.
If anybody, if a Martian landed on Earth and was presented with this, the Martian would shake his head and say, "What are you people doing?" It beggars belief. Anybody who looks at this would say, "What is the rationale for this?" And if you say we need airlines, of course we need airlines. And the market, the private sector, will step into the arena and fill the gap, as it has. Emirates has partnered with Sasha. Qatar Airways has partnered with Airlink. I fly to Cape Town to Parliament. I fly on Airlink. It is filling a gap. There are seats available, and as the market improves, which will take some time, more airlines will come in to fill the space. Government has no business in this area. These are a tight margin businesses that need to be run by astute business people who understand the industry, who understand the cost, that if you increase the cost by providing 4 extra lettuce leaves in the food that you give to people on the plane, it costs Y, and Y will impact your ongoing working capital to the factor of Z. The government doesn't understand this, so you just carry on as if money grows on trees. Well, it doesn't grow on trees. It comes from your and my pocket in terms of taxes. And the only way they're going to fund it is to increase taxes. They're already taxed to death.
I think this is a scary part, and especially when one looks at what happened with the medium-term budget, the mini budget that was presented last week. Now, one of the criticisms that I see that has come through from the government saying that the DA, in order to hide the knowledge of the aviation sector and economics, manipulating facts to fabricate false ideas about SAA. Now, what would he actually insinuate talking about fabricating and manipulating facts?
I frankly have no idea. All the facts and the figures are on the table. The only facts and figures that are not on the table are the detailed facts and figures, not the headline news from the business rescue practitioners. The facts are on the table as to how much money is going to SAA, where it comes from, which other ministries and which other sectors are going to be cut back in order to do this. How much more is going to be required going forward, apart from this 10.5 billion? Because it doesn't end here. There will be more that's required. How many people are going to be kept on board in terms of bloated employment, and how are you going to fund this into the future? These are responsible questions. They are the questions which is my job to ask, because I provide oversight from an opposition's point of view. And if there was no oversight, then these flights of fancy and these follies would run rampant. So to make these lashing out accusations about not understanding or misrepresenting facts is frankly almost as bad as Donald Trump's behavior by saying everything is fake news. There's a ring about that to me.
Yes. Now, Ghaleb, while we've got you, we know that the elections, the electoral conference is over, and you have got a new leader. And just quickly, your thoughts on the outcome and the fact that John Steenhuisen, a whopping 80% votes that he had received, and looking at the party and the direction that the party would be taking under the leadership of John Steenhuisen.
Before this Congress, we had a policy conference where we have laid out our policy in no uncertain terms. It's a commitment to economic justice, to redress, and to a free market economy. So we agree on the route, on where we should be heading to, but we have particular differences in how to get there. That has been laid out plainly in our policy document. John championed that and stood by every inch of that in his manifesto. He received, as you say, 80% of the vote. 80% of the vote from 2,000 delegates, of which the South Africans must know was overwhelmingly black in its composition. So to come and talk to us about saying that this is a race and this is a white man's club is actually pernicious. John has won this fair and square on the basis of his manifesto, which ties into our policy. And we are now ready to move forward, and on the basis of that, to set our stall out to people and say, this is what we believe in. Let's discuss it with you, and let's see if you agree. Let's not put red herrings of race in the way of this. It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with policy. It has to do with the future of our country. Let's talk Turkey. Let's not talk nonsense.
Well, Ghaleb, Jazakallah for that, shukran for your time with us this morning on Assalam Media. We wish you all the best, and please stay safe. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Thank you very much.
Ghaleb Cachalia, DAMP, joining us this morning. And perhaps you'd like to comment on the whole SAA thing. I mean, do we really need a national airline? And you can let us know on the WhatsApp line on 061 766 0355. Considering the airline's track record speaks for itself, it has been bankrupt for the last 10 years. It has been relying on bailout after bailout. And the government, what do? They opted for a pie in the sky and believing that the restructuring as part of the business rescue plan is fundamental and it will create for another base or for an emergence of a competitive, viable and sustainable national airline for the Republic of South Africa. And that is a question I'm asking. Do we have a reason to believe that we need this national airline? How proud are you of South African Airways? Let us know. 061 766 0355.